Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Again, Mazda 6 2.2 Sky Active. I don't put these up unless I believe they're going to help someone to find an answer or get a result from where they're at. On this yoke, I don't have a scan tool on it right now, but we were getting a P0299, which is an underboost fault. And an underboost fault is very similar to another video that I done only a week or two ago, where an actually CX-5 came back from Aberdeen to Ireland to get a underboost fault resolved. But I just think that's dirty. This thing had the same kind of, I wouldn't say same symptoms, but with no boost whatsoever. I had a little bit of boost in the last one, but I had no boost whatsoever low down on this. And the most obvious thing that lads will jump out straight away at me and say, oh, the little flap breaks on the smaller high pressure turbo. Correct. But on our diagnosis, we didn't have the flap broken. So we didn't have it broken. We continued on looking for what the heck is going on here. Alan actually diagnosed it as the intake manifold were fairly heavily blocked. Map sensor was very heavily blocked, and that was his diagnosis. We then got on a vacuum pump. We then got a intake manifold cleaned on it, walnut blasted, the cooler walnut blasted. The manifold absolute pressure sensor, we cleaned it, didn't renew it, just cleaned it, put in our new vacuum pump, and at that stage, put it back together, went to drive it, and lo and behold, boom, within the immediate, we were getting a P0299 fault. So, this morning I asked Alan actually to bring it in and just have a fast look at this thing. I said, I wonder when we were cleaning the map sensor, did we go in a little bit too far? There's 3 little holes in the inside of the map sensor that have to be cleaned. Did we go in a little bit too far in there? Could we have damaged the map sensors and not seen the pressure? What the heck is going on? Anyway, nothing wrong with that. MIDI vac onto it, pipe onto it, create pressure, look at scan tool. Pressure here coinciding with scan tool. That map sensor was good. Rolled over here. Alan was going back in, doubting about turbos, etc. He called me over then at a point, and I went over and I said, okay, right, similar to where we were at on the last one. There is a regulating valve that's called on a scan tool, exhaust flap basically, in the middle of the 2 turbos. And that flap, when you start these cars, has to be closed, blocking the flow of air to the larger low pressure turbo and diverting that exhaust gas out and past the smaller high pressure turbo. And once that happens, we have flow, or at least exhaust gas getting past the smaller turbo, spinning the smaller turbo, and that should in theory give us boost, along with other stuff, but it should give us boost. Started the car, ran the car, I just stuck my hand down the back, no scan tool involved, and I pulled off the little vacuum pipe off of the large canister on the back. Floor is dirty, large canister, and I showed this before, on the back actually that's bent. That canister was not getting any vacuum to it. So, what's happening here? Little look, make sure the vacuum canister could contain vacuum. I didn't go to the canister. I went over here to a solenoid that's underneath the battery, identified it as being the solenoid closest to the chassis leg, and once I did, I actually pulled off the outlet going to the vacuum canister, and I drew a vacuum here, and I had control. So my vacuum canister was good, my pipes were good, and I could create a vacuum here, drawing that control solenoid regulating valve into its closed position. I could do it. Then we went to the other side of the solenoid, making sure I had vacuum getting to it. Did we have any blockages after a vacuum pump change? We didn't. We had vacuum getting to it. So then at that stage, I condemned a regulating valve actuator. Okay, that makes sense. Coming over here, now I'm going to show you the regulating valve is one of those. There's actually a part number on it there. SH02-18741 is a Hoffer product, and the Hoffer product there is numbers 8029536. That controls solenoid. If I could show you right now, let's see, can I pull it over that way a bit? Maybe it might just. I basically have no control to that. Now, weird and wonderful, there is no monitoring of that circuit. Once the circuit is intact, if the car sends out a residual voltage down here, and possibly sees a ground over here or continuity of a circuit or while it's not being controlled, it sees battery voltage down here because it's running through the windings and back out. The car doesn't see anything wrong with that solenoid if it's stuck. When it controls it, if it doesn't move, again, the car doesn't see anything wrong with that solenoid. It doesn't know whether it can move or not because we don't have a position sensor circuitry on that. Now you would think, like my last one, you would have a regulating valve position sensor fault or position fault, because the position sensor would not have been, rather than it being in the closed position, it would have been in the open position, and we would have thought that we would get some kind of regulating valve position fault. But anyway, we didn't. That little actuator basically fixed the problem. I only took it out, my cool battery there, and I just on a circuitry test, see where that control solenoid go. When I connected or disconnected, I wanted to hear a little click tick, tick, tick from it, and I'm not getting that. At that stage, I just pulled out control solenoids that I have sitting here, handed it to Alan, and I said, fit that thing in. We fitted it in. Again, we didn't look at scan tool. We just started the car, ran the car from a booster pack with the battery out and the tray out and all that so we could get in there or get access. And we went down to see was that actual vacuum canister here at the back of the turbo for that exhaust flap, as I can call it, or regulating valve, as they call it. What it basically is doing is regulating between the two turbos. Once that closes, as I said, air can't flow to the big turbo, so it's regulating between the smaller and the bigger turbo, as well as other changeover flaps, I call them down here. Again, that regulates the airflow between the big and the small turbo. But anyway, look, there's a couple of formats on these. So we've one down here, one back here, and then we have a wastegate sitting up on the top. That control solenoid fixed the car. Okay, just to give you a fast pointer, not as easy. Don't think that all these things we just get in and it's like boom, boom, boom. They're like clockwork. They're not. Sometimes you have to think outside the box. Alan said, I don't know if I would have found this on my own, but from me having these turbos taken apart, and I do have a video on where air flows through these two turbos and formats, Tipexed, the airflow and arrows on them. I have a video on something that I don't know what it's called right now, but it is out there. Only from knowing what should happen in here did that make me, basically find an answer. What I do see in there as well, maybe someone has done something to it. Mazda 6 wrote on top of a heat shield, but that's neither here or there. That's not our problem. Car is fixed with that solenoid in there, okay? Guys, might help someone for a P0299. Please like and subscribe if my hints and tips are any good to you. Some of them might be crap, some of them might be good. But either which way, look, thanks very much for watching, and I'll talk to you all next cartoon. Peter Kennedy, signing out. See you later, boys.